the Tuesday stream where once again we're going to be talking about the event that's upcoming. And I need to change this. Just give me 1 second. I just realized that I have the wrong image still. So let me just go ahead and change that real quick. There you go. Okay, so welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me today. And what we're going to do is we're going to be kicking things off with our giveaway as normal. And what I want to do is do things a little bit differently this time, just because the last week when I tried to do a giveaway here, it was through the store. So like people would use a link and try to get it, but it didn't really work out. So what's gonna happen here is if you get selected as a winner, go ahead and just message me on the network app, and then afterwards we could work out the details. All right, and so welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining me again. And just in 1 second here, I'm going to get started. So I'm kind of excited for this event actually, just because the deck seems interesting, and so I do want to talk a little bit about the deck itself and also see how we do. All right, so this is going to be a Water Beast deck, and it is a new season. So it's a new Entombed season, and we talked about this last time. So in the ultimate form, in the video I made last time where I kind of recommended which ultimate form you should be getting from the previous event, it was going to be the water ultimate form because it works with this event, which happens to be a water beast killer deck as well. And so there's definitely synergy. Hopefully you've had a chance to get that card if you had extra coins. And so it is going to be more difficult to earn this deck for free because it is the first of the season. So I'm hoping that with my gems, I'll be able to pull something here. Okay. And so best of luck to everybody. Hopefully you guys will be able to win something. And so again, the swag here, you can take a look at the link. Basically, I have a merch store. You'll be able to get either a hat or a mug or a t-shirt, whatever you choose. Just let me know what you like. So let's go ahead and take a look. And again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and try and pull a few tiers here, and then we'll see what we get. And then depending on what I get there, then I can talk through the cards. All right. And so we're going to go ahead with the pack opening first, just because I think, if I can get it, then I can use that to talk through the battle skills. And if not, we could always just, talk about it afterwards like I always do. So here's the first tier, and no lucky ultra rare this time around, but that's okay. So let's see, and we'll go to tier 2. And by the way, I'm wearing this hat right here. So this is the hat that is, it just came today actually. And it is one of the new hats that's available as well. So it's got the red brim and the red wings, right? And so that is one of the options also. So just wanted to give you an idea what it looks like. And it's not a one size, it's not fitted. So it's got the snap back. So it's one size fits all. Okay. All right. So let's go to tier 2 and let's see what we get here. And as I said, I am kind of interested in this deck just because I think the mechanic is interesting, and I do want to make sure that I clear up any, potentially any confusions there may be about how this particular deck works. All right. So first two tiers, no luck, unfortunately. So that's okay. We will keep trying. We'll keep trying to go to tier 4 here. So let's see. We've got Sergeant Madness. Glad to be here. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. And we got Vincent. So you like the hat? Yeah, I think the hat is pretty cool. And Marlon has a shout out to New World Order. And all right. So there is the guaranteed relic. Got Farah and Swift Striker. So I got 2 of the collection cards so far. So what I noticed is that I got 2 of the collection cards. I would have rather I get the gold cards. So I have basically 1 more tier to go for 2 gold cards. Unlikely to happen, but you never know. All right, so let's see. It's really too bad when you can't when I can't pull the card. Like it feels like that's always the case in the when you first start a season. All right, like I never get what I need at the beginning of the season, and when I get the guaranteed cards right off the bat, that's never a good thing. And then look at that, 3 different shields and targas, useless things that I don't need. So yeah, basically, 4 cards, just absolutely nothing once again. So I had my luck last event. I guess that was about as much as I could have expected. And look at the rest of the cards I get from the Vault rewards. I get 2 hammers and a saber and 300 coins. So they continue to add just really useless stuff in the Vault, and it's getting really tiring. So unfortunately, can't really show anything to you guys. We're just gonna have to talk about the cards as is. All right. So let's go and take a look. Anytime I think that something is interesting, it's always, just never happens for me, right? And so I'm just going to have to go buy the cards, and we'll just have to talk about, just talk about it. Anyways, Masters of the Valiance. It is the ultimate form that has the Beast Killer. It's a Beast Killer card, and the battle skill introduces something a little bit new. So as a battle skill on its own, it creates power gems, 2 power gem force, and depending on the number of beast killer intensity, so for every 100, you're gonna get 1 more power gem. So there's a potential for this card by itself to fill up the deck, to fill up the board, if you can get up to 3,500 intensity, or actually, I guess 3,300 is fine, right? But if there is the fully loaded status for this card, then you're gonna create 2 more power gem force. All right, but that's not really the power of this deck. This card, the status really, what it really gives you is a double counting of the battle skill activation. So what happens is you activate a card, and what it does is it spawns power gems, and then it spawns 2 more, and that gets counted if you are fully loaded, and so that counts as 2 battle skill activations. And the passive ability for Deployed Deliverance, what it gives you is the way to get fully loaded status is you have to not attack for 1 turn. So if in 1 turn you don't match any water gems, then the very next turn you will have that fully loaded status. And based on what I'm seeing in the description here, and also what I've seen in video, this status doesn't go away. So once you charge it up, then it stays until you activate your battle skill, and then it goes away. Okay, so it's not like some of the other passive abilities where it just kind of stays for 1 turn. This will persist until you activate your battle skill. So all you have to do is not attack for 1 turn, and then you'll be able to use it. And a second passive ability, Final Development. This card gives you a I had this on the I need to be at the top, so I missed out the name of that for who subscribed. So anyways, the second ability here, when you activate a power gem skill, it creates an additional power gem. And then it also increases your beast killer attack by 10%. Not a whole lot, but you get it for every power gem battle skill. And so if you think about it, this card, when you're fully loaded and then you activate your battle skill, it counts as 2. So then what happens is you get 2 power gem 2s, and you increase your attack by 20% instead of 10%. So you double that value. All right. And so as far as the killer attack boost goes, I guess it adds up if all of them have this sort of property. So if you think about it, all 5 cards doubled up, that's 20% times 5. So really what that gives you is a total of 100, basically 100% attack boost, right? So if you have 5 cards and all of them get doubled up because they all have the fully loaded status, and then they activate their battle skill that gives you a power gem, then you gain 100% attack on your card. And in Slayers, it's a little bit more pronounced, so you do more damage that way. But what's nice here is besides that, one thing I didn't call out is you also get 20% damage reduction if you don't attack. So if you don't attack one turn, the next turn this one's hazy. I don't know whether the damage reduction stays because you're fully loaded, or if you get the damage reduction because you don't attack. So this one I don't know. Without the cards, I can't really tell, but you get some damage reduction, which could help you with survivability. Okay, so that's what the ultimate card does, and that's what fully loaded means. This is one that is going to be pretty confusing for people, just because there's a lot of text, but it comes down to you don't have to attack. If you don't attack one time, then you gain that, and they made it easier too because you start out with the status. So at the beginning of the match, when you go into the battle, you start with the fully loaded status anyway, and so you don't have to worry. So as soon as you activate your battle skill, you're gonna get double the number. You're gonna get an additional power gem 1, 2 power gem 1s, and then also two additional power gem 4s, and you're going to get 20% attack boost per card that you have this. Okay, so the Master Collection card is the one that will give you the fully loaded status, and it gives you a damage reduction. So the Master Collection card is damage reduction, and if you take a look at the ultra rare card, which is Intergalactic Inventor, this card is the one that gives you the attack boost, but it has a 6-turn cooldown. I didn't pay attention to the cooldown, so let's take a look at the Master Collection card. So the Master Collection card, once again, it has a 3-turn cooldown, and it gives you the multiple power gems, and it also gives you the damage reduction. Okay, and this card also has the fully loaded ability whenever you don't attack. And if we take a look at the ultra rare card, has a much longer cooldown, has a cooldown of 6 turns, and it increases the turn counter by 1. So this ability is not part of the ultimate form, so only the ultra rare card has the turn delay. And when you activate a power gem battle skill, then it creates an additional power gem and increases attack. So here's the problem, right? The ultra rare card is the one that increases the killer skill attack, but it doesn't have a battle skill that creates power gems, and it doesn't go into fully loaded. And so you're not going to get the full 100% just because of the ultra rare card. So the ultra rare card is, in my opinion, not a great card. So it has a super long cooldown. Okay, I don't know why you would ever have a 6-turn cooldown in a Slayer deck, where all it does is gives you a turn counter by 1. For an ultra rare card, it is extremely weak. Okay, and yes, it does give you that passive ability where you create an additional power gem 1, and you increase the beast killer attack, but you're not increasing it by a ton. Okay, and you're really just getting the ultra rare card for its passive ability, but I just don't feel like it's that great. So as far as the 2 cards go, I prefer going after the Master Collection card. Even if you lose a little bit of the attack boost, I think it's okay. So SMC, welcome to the stream here, and Con William D, welcome to the stream as well. Cool. Okay, so let's take a look here. And so Angel, you're going to stick with fully loaded involving tequila. All right. So that is the ultra rare card, the Master Collection card. I think the Master Collection card is better out of the 2. And then we can take a look at the event card also. So this event card is called Akondo Attack Android. And this card is not too bad, actually. It gives you 2 Outer Power Gem 2s. And then if it's fully loaded, you get 2 more. Okay. It doesn't create more Power Gems based on intensity, so that's unfortunate. But it does, let's see. It counts as an additional power gem activation. So I guess in the situation where if you pair this with the ultra rare card, let's say that's the card you pulled, you could use the event card to work with it so that you have double skill activation. I believe there are other cards in the game that also boosts based on power gem battle skills. right? So if you use a skill that activates power gems, then you get also additional boost. I haven't looked into the deck into my cards to see which ones that is, but I know that there's some battle skills that take advantage of that, and so having extra battle skill activation counts can be useful. So it can help you build on top of those skills there. Passive ability just gives you the fully loaded ability. It doesn't really do anything else, but we kind of expect that from the event cards. And then the support card here, Researcher Karina. It gives you 2 power gem once, but you're not really using the support card for a power gem creation. You're using it for the heal. So this one doesn't have any passive heals though. So as far as the healing goes, it heals more the higher intensity count goes, but you need to wait 3 turns. And so there's a sort of a trade-off here. Normally in some support cards, they have a passive healing ability, so every single turn you can heal. But in a Slayer event, you get attacked once every 2 turns. So having it have a 3-turn cooldown is not too bad. Especially since you can probably go with 2 support cards and you can stagger your heals. So that way, as your intensity goes higher, you're always going to be at full health. And so that is something to think about as well. It dispels panic, so panic isn't something to worry about. Panic is one of those abilities where it's actually not too bad. Like, I don't mind it at all. It just means that you have less time to make your gem matches, but it doesn't impact you whatsoever. Traitor is one that will damage you as you attack, so that is something that is going to be a little bit of a trouble. But let's see if the event card dispels that. So the event card does dispel Traitor. So if you don't have the Master Collection card, you can at least use that. The ultra rare card is Dodge. So Dodge doesn't hurt you, but it can make you deal no damage to the boss, and that could be a little bit annoying. And so that is something that could get annoying just because you don't deal damage, but at least you won't get hurt by it. It just means that you sometimes might need to take longer to take out the boss. And so overall, I feel like the deck as a whole is not that bad, because I know that there's potential here. What is this? Is that a relic? That's a relic test subject. That's the rare relic. I just saw that pop up. So as far as decks go, this works really well with the previous Water Commander deck, and I told you that I recommended the what was it called? The Armor Automaton over Dorothy, and that is what I got. So I used the key. I used my seasonal coins, and this is what I got. I couldn't get the ultimate form, unfortunately, but this is what I went with. And the question here is, well, if you used the previous Water Commander deck, the damage boost, so you get a 50% damage boost, okay? But the damage boost only happens if you attack. But this deck is all about waiting an additional turn and not attack, right? So you don't attack before you can gain the status. So don't they sort of counteract each other? That was my original thought as well. But after reading a little bit, I think what happens here is you can still take advantage of this. And so what happens is, number one, you start out with the fully loaded status. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is you just need 1 turn where you don't do a match, and then you'll have the fully loaded status until your next activation. And so it's really just 1 turn where you can't use it. And then after that, as long as you make sure that you attack, you'll be able to gain that 50% damage boost. And that's passive, which is what I like. I like the fact that it passively gives you the 50% damage boost. Okay, it's damage, not attack. So it's going to be much more significant than the attack boost that you're going to get. So this is a good card to have, or if you have the ultimate form, I would also recommend putting that in there also. And so that would be, something that I would go with. So Vincent, so you have 39 coins. You didn't have enough to get 42. That is really frustrating. Me, myself, and 1100. Is there a strategy on how to get all the mercenary bosses? Yeah, so that's the other thing I wanted to talk about in this video as well. So let's go and take a look at the newsfeed. So event deck, to me, it's okay. It's so-so. Okay, it's not It's just that it's got an interesting mechanic, but the boost is okay at best, because it's really just it's less than 100% attack boost. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. It's not huge. It's not a huge amount in Slayer. Okay, so don't overthink it. It really isn't the greatest attack boost. What you get is, some additional power gems, and so you have a ability to get, more power gems, but then like any deck really can do that. So ultimately all you're really looking for is abilities to a way to get yourself more of a killer skill. Okay, which every event, if you get event deck, you get that. But as a deck as a whole, if you don't pair it with the previous Water Commander deck, then it's really nothing special. It is how I'm thinking about it. So it's not bad, but it's not one that blows me away. It's not one that I think is a must-have. It's just that without the ultimate form, you're not going to deal as much damage, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. Okay, but let's take a look at the Mercenary bosses, because this is also the event where you're going to be able to get them. So what is a Mercenary boss? A Mercenary boss this is the second time that they've introduced this. Well, they've introduced it a while ago, and this is the second time that they're running again. And they have this, they have the newsfeed on how to get them. And they made this super complicated. So I had to reread this a couple times. All right, so let's go through them right now. Hopefully we can understand it so that you can be better prepared. All right, so first of all, the Mercenary bosses that are available, I'm not sure if they have all of the I'm not sure if they listed them all here, but the one that really matters, okay, there's Prince Baldir, which is okay, but really the one that is that really matters is a Militant Maven. So hopefully everybody here has gotten themselves at least one BioBlitzer from the Proving Ground store before it had closed, okay? Because I've been saying this like a broken record, because it is an extremely important card to have, all right? And so Mercenary bosses, this is the second time, like I said, they're coming back, and this time around you have to do the following things, all right? So it will spawn at random. So when you see the bosses that are and they're only going to be spawned by you. You're not going to be able to see other people's bosses. So they're going to spawn at random, and the average time it takes for each spawn will decrease as you move up in prestige. So what they're saying is you want to be as high as you can in prestige levels, and higher prestige will ensure the higher rarities of Mercenary bosses will spawn. So if you're like prestige 1 or 2, then you won't be able to see the Master Collection card or the ultra rare cards for the Mercenary bosses. And ultimately, those really are the only ones that matter. Okay, so the Mercenary bosses generally are good for dust. Like you can get them and then dust them, and you can get some pink dust, which is good. But what you really want are the ultra rare cards or the Master Collection cards. So you have to get to Prestige 5. That's the first thing we know. Okay, first thing, Prestige 5 is required for you to get the Corellium solo bosses, which is going to be the Corellium Mercenary, which really is the Militant Maven. Maybe also Prince Baldir. Okay, so that much we know. So if you've never gone to Prestige 5 before, this time you'll have to do that. Recruiting a Mercenary boss, and so they need to know that you're worthy of the talent. So you need to also get as high of a damage as you can. And what it says is your chance of recruiting a boss increases depending on the objectives you earn. So if you get MVP, you'll have a higher chance. So if you just go in and you tag and you don't, I guess this time around, because you're getting participation objective, it means you can go into somebody else's Mercenary boss. So you're going to want an MVP, and you're going to want to do this on a Prestige 5 boss. So if you don't have the event deck, it's difficult. And that's how I read this, all right? Guarantee recruitment. If you're looking to maximize your chance of building the perfect team this event, you can guarantee recruitment of that boss through the use of bribes. They also introduced this thing called a bribe. I don't know exactly what that really is going to be like how you're going to use it. Basically, if you bribe, you bump up the chances of a boss up to 100%. You can earn it from event collection or visit the event store. So I'm not sure if you have to buy it with gems or whatnot. And if you've owned these heroes before, it doesn't count. Okay, you have to actually recruit them from this particular event before before you can get them. So what do I think about all this? Basically, the two things we know: you need to go to Prestige 5 and you need to MVP your boss. Oh, three things. And you need to somehow spend more resources to guarantee that you can obtain that boss. So there's, I guess it's not 100%. Defeating the boss does not give you the guarantee of getting it. Unlike the last event when we ran the Mercenary boss. So they changed it up. What are my thoughts about the Mercenary boss changes? I think they've overcomplicated a little bit, because Mercenary bosses was just a fun thing that I thought was a really good idea. It gave you an opportunity to get these cards that you otherwise wouldn't get. A lot of people had a lot of dust with it. It's basically kind of like a free card giveaway, which I really enjoyed. But now, with the requirement of going to Prestige 5, with the requirement of getting MVP to increase your chances, yes, it means that people who spent on the deck will have the best chance of getting these cards. But the people who've spent the most to get the best decks don't really need those cards. Okay, they might also want the Militant Maven just as much as we do. But for those of us who aren't able to participate at the highest level, saying that we have a lower chance of getting it if we can't deal enough damage really is just, it's unnecessary to me, in my opinion. Like, we're playing this game for fun, and they've taken some things that are supposed to be fun and they put it into a little bit of a paywall, which to me is never a good thing. Okay, and so I personally don't really think that this is a great redo of the Mercenary bosses. I wish that they just left that part alone. Just let us spawn it. Let us get the bosses whenever we defeat them, and not have this Prestige 5 requirements. What happens to people who don't Prestige, right? Like, it's just my opinion. Forcing people to Prestige for the sake of Prestige is not a good thing, just because it doesn't make it fun for the people, right? So let's see. I'm taking a look at the chats here, and just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So maybe you can bribe the Mercenary bosses for 100 gold. We'll see. I don't know what kind of resources you're gonna have to spend in order to purchase the bribes. I don't really like the idea of using the term bribes either. It's just, there's a lot of negative connotations for it. It just feels very corrupt. And so I don't really, just not my thing this event. So I think that, overall the deck is, it's okay, but really I think that you will do best if you can pair it with the Wizard of Oz deck. I personally will probably be trying my hand at a combination of this, whatever I can here. So let's see, the card that I will be using, the other card that you can use, which gives you a beast killer bonus, is Party Posse of Power. The unfortunate thing is that with 400% damage boost, it's no more than a regular support card or anything like that. And so really, I'm just doing this so that I can give myself other cards that can give me power gems, such as, Combat Ready Crew. So Combat Ready Crew is going to be a card that I will be using this particular event, and I will probably I'll probably add a couple of support cards in there because it gives me additional healing, although I could get that also just from the Frozen Devastation. So I haven't decided just yet. I have a lot of much older, Water Slayer Ultimate Form cards that I could use. I just haven't decided which one I'll go with. I also have the Apex Predators. So if you have like an Immortal Killer deck, which boosts your Immortal Killer bonus, this is the card that you could potentially use. So you can, for example, use the Dark Golem deck, right? And you can boost your Apex Predators, but you also want to make sure that you have some sort of killer boost so that you can maximize this. There's a whole bunch of different things that you could try here. But there is also some options. Okay, and so that is just some of the things that I'm just kind of thinking out loud right here. But overall, my impression right now is doesn't feel like a great start to a season here with a deck that doesn't feel it feels okay. Okay, not the greatest, but really for me it's just I was looking forward to the Mercenary boss all season, all last season. I was looking forward to it, and it just I'm kind of turned off by it, to be honest with you. The whole process behind it just doesn't make it fun. Anyway, here is the card that I was talking about. So these are the cards that will give, if you want to use the Apex Predators. This is a really good card to give you that boost, right? High performance unit area, plus the support card, which is just regular unit area. These two will give you a huge buff to your Immortal Killer bonus, and if you could pair that with some other killer skill for beast killer skill, then you can if you have party posse or if you have this event deck, then you can get some good damage output. Sort of like a similar. It's like a similar recipe, really, in Slayer events. Just find the few select commander decks that have these huge amounts of damage boost, and then just apply them in your Slayer deck. That really is what I've seen as the best recipe for success without having to go deep into an event deck itself. Okay, so that's just some of the things I was thinking about. So because I don't have the event deck, I will be looking for other ways to try and survive a Prestige 5 event. I'm going to see what I can do to get a Mercenary boss. Hopefully I get my Militant Maven. As you saw here, as I mentioned, I got 2 additional Bio Blitzers. So you can see here. I used a coin and I used gems to get myself 2 additional Bio Blitzers just so I can get a Militant Maven to to get more pink stars. I will be very upset if the way they've structured it makes it so that it's impossible for me to get Militant Maven. It would be very frustrating for me if that's the case. So I hope not. Okay, and I hope that you guys also get some, get the cards that you need. All right, so let's go ahead and select our winner. So the raffle is now complete. So I'm going to go ahead and close the entries, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick a winner. Why can I not? Hold on a second. The timer is. Hold on a second. I need to try and refresh this. I'm trying to get the winner here, but Streamlabs is flaking out on me. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and select the winner, and the winner is Gareth Dalthwaite. So congratulations to you. So please reach out to me in the network app so that I can get your shipping info. Okay. And so, yeah, so final parting thoughts. Just wait until the event starts before you decide to really go deep here. Deck itself is okay. I think that you will do just fine with the deck. If you have the previous Water Commander deck, use it together. You're going to either get 50% damage boost if you have just the Ultra Rare card, or you'll get the second turn full of power gems if you have just a Master Collection card, or if you have the Ultimate Form, then you get both. Okay, you get the best of both worlds in that situation. And so I think that would be my best advice, is to just wait on it. Not one that I would fully chase, and I'm hoping beyond hope that the Mercenary bosses will be a little bit easier to obtain than I imagine it would be, especially the Militant Mavens. And also, there are definitely other cards that you could use to be successful in this event. There's a way to survive in Prestige 5. I've done this every single event now, so I will be sharing my thoughts on how you can do that this particular event in a later video also. Okay. So that's going to be it for the review here. I'm just going to take a quick look at the comments here again. So Gareth, make sure you look for me in the network app and we can discuss the next steps here. So let's see. For the Proving Grounds, should you go for Relentless Scholars or should you get one of the Gorilla? So Oleg, my personal preference is if you don't have Gorillas already and you have Jailers, you should definitely go after Gorillas. I think it's always going to be useful, and it's going to be more useful, in my opinion, than Relentless Scholars. Relentless Scholars has a slightly better stats and slightly better abilities, but really those decks, you're only really using it for the nuke ability. And so Gorillas with the Jailers is a killer combo. So if you don't have it already, you want to get that. So if you don't have that, use your Proving Ground coins. It's well worth it. Okay. So Amanda, fingers crossed it's easier than it sounds. I hope so. I hope I didn't, I think I may be just a little bit more negative about like what it's going to be like. But, Prestige 5 and MVP, it just doesn't sound very doable for most of us without a deck. And so we'll have to see. Maybe if you get the bribe, you can get it even at participation rewards. So that maybe that's the way around it. We'll see. I will definitely be playing with it because that is my ultimate goal, is to get Militant Maven. And so if I can get that easily, then I'll share the tricks as well in the next video. Okay. So that's going to be it. And if you have to choose, I would say Master Collection card over Ultra Rare for this particular deck, but I wouldn't waste your coins. Okay. Don't waste your coins in getting a one of the two cards here. It's really not worth it. But if you want to use, if you got one of the cards already, and then you can use coins to get a second one, basically by that point you probably are chasing the deck. So I would just go ahead and get it anyway using the coins. So that'll be my advice for you. Okay, so that's gonna be it. Thank you very much for me for today. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully it's going to be a good event with our mercenary bosses, and hopefully you guys have a good event as well. Thank you very much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.